Welcome to another episode of Top Real Estate Secrets. I'm your host, Liz B, and today we have a very special guest who I invited on here because I believe that this is a problem in the real estate industry and I don't know how to cure it. So I wanted to bring an expert on here. Welcome, Michelle Vaughn. She is a licensed therapist and hopefully she can help us learn how to take the emotions out of real estate and calm our nerves when you're purchasing or buying a home and also selling. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, of course. So I like to think that I'm really, really, really good at my job. And there is one thing that I feel that I have not been able to cure or find an answer to. Every single time that I buy or sell a home, every single client, they either freak out or they're stressed out and their emotions are just absolutely wild. And it's actually gotten to the point where I kind of my job is to take my emotions out of it. Are the numbers okay? Do the numbers make sense? Can we go down the street and buy another one because this home is overpriced? So I'm emotionless in this process. But I don't know what I can do to help my clients actually get over their emotions. Do you have any suggestions on what someone can do? Let's say when they're selling a home and they actually start, the process. And then all of a sudden I actually had someone almost get really cold feet and pull out from me and not sell her home. But legally, the buyers could have sued her to actually do it. And so I just felt really bad because she was super emotionally attached to her home. And she said, no, I don't want to sell it anymore. But that's not the way that real estate works.
Right.
So I know this is your specialty.
Well, first and foremost, it's really important to have your foundation, right? The team, a good team, good real estate team, because mood often follows action. And when you take action to get things lined up, that already will create some peace. However, we can't avoid emotions. People are human. They're going to be anxious and emotional. And when, I know you are such an incredible, reassuring human being, but after your reassurance can only go so far, and then it's up to the person to control their inner environment. And the way to do that is to first tune in and listen to, what are you telling yourself? Are you saying, I can't do this, or I'm not going to sell this, or this isn't going to work, or I'm not good at this, or I'm scared? And then all you do is kind of meet that with some compassion and awareness. You slow down and then be your own best friend. Because you can talk, you can be reassuring, you can tell them you know what you're doing because you do. But it's up to the person, the individual, to say, okay, it's all right. Of course you're stressed. This is normal. You've got this. And so you just kind of tamper it down. There's so many different tools to use. It just depends on how many you want me to go into, but definitely getting present, being mindful, listening to what you're saying to yourself, and then countering it, because we don't need to believe every thought we think. We just don't. So if they say, I'm afraid, what if I can't sell this? Well, what if you can? What if you will? What if it's all going to be okay? That type of thing. But then there are other fun tools too that I have if you want.
Yeah, I always wonder what it is and why people become so, sometimes it's literally crazy. I had this one client, first of all, they called me over. They said, we want to sell our home if we can find the dream home for our next home. And I said, okay, I love a good challenge. Let me find it. In 2 days, I found their home. It went on the market. We went and saw it. And we're talking about a high level executive here that I was working with. And his wife was like, this is it. I want to buy the home. This is it. But we had not sold his home yet because we didn't put on the market. They literally said, hey, I want to make sure I find my home first. Well, we were in multiple offers. There was like 7 offers, and we were going to be number 1 because it would have been cash. One of the things that he was going to do, he was going to pull it out of his IRA. And then if we sell his home within 60 days, you just replace it in your IRA and you don't take a tax penalty. So I understand that there's a lot of moving parts, but I sent him the contract and he couldn't sign the contract. He got cold feet. His wife was super pissed. And I don't know what tools can you give me that I can actually use with my clients that I can say to them, like, I don't even know what to say, because at this point I'm kind of like, hey, don't worry. I've done this a lot and I'll make sure I'll protect you and everything will be okay.
Well, the thing is, with stress and anxiety and all of these unwanted emotions that are absolutely normal, there's usually fear behind it, fear underneath, fear of usually loss of something. And it might not be loss of money even. It might be loss of their home. Maybe they raised their kids in that home. Maybe that house was an extension of their lives. And what if they don't get that back? And so I think it's important truly to identify what is, in this case, what is he telling himself? What are the words he's saying to himself? What is he truly afraid of? And it's important for him to know what that is. But in order for you to help, it's important for you to know what it is too. Otherwise you won't have an area to look.
Right. I kept telling him, I'm like, just trust me. And he was like, well, I haven't sold my home yet. And I said, we're in the hottest market that we've ever been in. It was 2022. And every time I would throw a home on the market, then bam, it literally multiple offers. It was a great neighborhood, great schools, but I think he just had this fear of, well, what if it doesn't sell and this and that? And I felt like I just didn't have the tools to calm him down. And I'm finding this a lot with, a lot of my clients. I just sold a $2.2 million house. Client became a really good friend of mine, but everything went super smooth. There were some small hiccups. We had some foundation problems that we were unexpected. That's like a $30,000 fix. But other than that, her anxiety was high during the whole process. Is it going to go through? Are they going to ask these for more money? What's going on? And, is there, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What was your question?
No, I was just going to say, are there any self-care practices, maybe like your breathing techniques, or is it just like talking to yourself and just telling yourself like this is a successful situation?
Well, it has to resonate. You can't lie to yourself if you're not thinking it's successful, or you just simply don't know. And usually it's about the unknown that causes anxiety. You don't want to make such a leap as to say, no, everything's fine, this is successful. The key is first, what you say to yourself. You definitely want to kind of be supportive and reassuring to yourself, right? Because thoughts create feelings. You want to do that. You also, mood does follow action. So you want to, take the actions, the very right next step along the path with your support. Of course, that's reassuring. So the best thing to do when you're in a situation where it's, extra stress in your life, because we all have stress, that's normal. But when that there's extra stress, it's important to be intentional about your self-care. Okay, not just, of course I care for myself, I take care of myself, but be intentional. So that could be carving out time for yourself, not looking at your phone at, before 9 o'clock in the morning, for example, but then also actually breathing in the moment, because there could be a moment where you actually physically feel anxiety. And so breathing is really important, intentional breathing. So one of my favorite breathing exercises would be to inhale for 4 counts, but at the top of the 4th second, you inhale 2 more times. So it's after the first 4, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you exhale, I know it looks kind of funny, you might not be able to do it in front of people. You exhale with your teeth together, you go for 7 seconds at least till you get all of that. It's like letting the air out of a tire. It's like letting the air out of a tight balloon. You're just, That really truly relaxes your entire body. Even
Interesting.
if you're not relaxed, even if you're not controlling your thoughts. And then also, it's really important not to believe everything you think. Just
Mm.
because we think it doesn't make it true. So if it's, well, what if I never sell this and I've just lost my home, and now I don't have enough money? Yes, what if, but what if that doesn't happen? And the key is, it's okay. It's okay to actually be stressed during this time. So when we resist, we create even more anxiety. So Elizabeth, when your clients are stressed, and I know you don't want them to be, you want to help them, you want to reassure
Right.
them. Well, guess what? It's okay for them to be stressed too. You can reassure by saying, it's all right that you're stressed. Instead of resisting it and trying to push it away, lean into it and be your own best friend.
Yeah, so it's funny you said that because when I sit down with a new client, I actually tell them and say, "Hey, listen, I want you to know that this process, it's going to be stressful. I have not figured out a way to take that stress away. If I could, I would. But all I can tell you is I'm here. I've done this a lot, so I can protect you in certain situations. And if something happens that maybe I don't know about, because I'm always learning in real estate, there can be a lot of different things. I have a great broker. She has 1,500 agents and she pretty much has done everything. She's been in this for 20, years. So what can I also do? Because I tell them, I go, you just have to trust me. And I tell them to go look at my reviews. They speak for themselves. But in our industry, I have felt like this has become, it's a weak class. It's a lot of people who don't really care about their clients and they just might sell 1 or 2 or 3 homes a year. And they're not really into the business. How can I get my clients to really trust me and trust me more? Is there anything that I could do or say to say, hey, listen, don't worry, I'm not gonna like do anything bad. It's just number one, it's not in my blood, but I want them to feel super comfortable that I'm gonna do the right thing always, no matter what.
Well, the thing is, and I've known you for years, Elizabeth, and the thing is, all you have to do is keep being who you are. Because when somebody is skeptical and they are having kind of concerns about trust, really isn't you, it's them. And I don't mean to blame, the client at all. I just mean that's more of a reflection of what they're going through. It
Mm.
has nothing to do with you. And you just be exactly who you've always been. And that's why you also have such great reviews, and great success in this industry,
Mm.
because you're so authentic and you care so much and you're right there with them. But so there's absolutely nothing you can do to change a person's mind about trust. It has to do with them. And they're really just scared.
Mm.
They're just really scared, you know?
But it is true. I mean, it is such a every single one has ever done it, and so I have accepted it. That's why I invited you here because I want first people to understand that this could be their largest asset, and if you do hire the wrong realtor, it can be bad. I've seen it. I started this program because I wanted to help people learn how to sell their home on their own, saving that commission, but also understanding like, hey, there's some stuff that's going to go on that they need to be aware about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's wonderful to be upfront the way you are, the way you have been. That's very reassuring. You're not hiding, yourself or anything or the process. So I think that's good.
So, when buyers or sellers, when they're selling a home, do you believe in any like feng shui, or is there anything that they could do to help them, have really good energy in the home? Because I always tell my buyers that when we walk into a home, your home is going to pick you. You do not pick your home. It just feels right. You know, this is the one, and we go from there. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I love feng shui for fun. For fun. Now, it's not something that I would kind of hang everything on. For example, if I fell in love with a house and then I looked to see what direction it's facing or where the front door is vis-a-vis, the directions, I'm not going to panic and say I can't buy that house. But that's just because of my approach. I think it's great fun when you can practice feng shui principles within your house, like with the furniture or placement of objects or clearing clutter.
Mm.
I think it's fun, and it's all about the energy that's created when you walk into a space, and that can be just, decorating. It doesn't have to be feng shui. But I think that if you let feng shui kind of determine the direction, whether you're going to buy a house or whatever based on the direction, now you're kind of giving up your sense of agency and control and kind of putting it into feng shui. And for me, I feel like that's like coming from a place of powerlessness. However, I love feng shui. I do, but I wouldn't take it to the extreme of the actual structure of the house is facing the wrong direction. I mean, that's a little too much.
It's
Can't do much about that.
it's funny because I actually get that a lot. They wanted to make sure that it's facing east, the door. And then I've heard make sure that the master bedroom, the headboard is not facing north because apparently that's where they used to bury the dead north and their head. And so I never knew some of these things. So I thought it was very interesting.
Well, I mean, with the headboard, with the placement of the bed, I mean, there is some control that you can have over that. But even a good example of fun feng shui is the dining room. You know how most dining rooms you'll see a nice big mirror over the dining table?
Mm.
That's actually feng shui. That's the concept that you are doubling your abundance, you're doubling your food, you're doubling your friendships and laughter and family, and by having the mirror,
Yeah.
and I think that really does feel good, especially if you've got candles going and now you see the reflection in the mirror. That's an example of feng shui that I think is healthy and fun. But the front door, there are always good aspects about any direction, like West has some really great, ideas too in feng shui, if your front is facing west. But I don't know. I never focused on the directions because it's really hard, especially if you just know you love a house and if you feel good in it. That's the best indicator you can have, and
Mm.
it has nothing to do with feng shui. It's just
Yes.
how it
So
feels.
another thing that I deal with a lot is when I go into homes. First of all, I'm never judgmental because you never know certain people's situations. But a lot of people are hoarders and they hoard things. Is there anything that I could, I find that they're very emotionally attached to these items. Um, is there anything that I could say that's a softer approach that says, hey, listen, we really need to clean this up? Or I always say, like, is there anything I could do to help you? I have a team. We can come out and we can help you do it. But I tend to find that these people are very emotionally attached to their items.
Absolutely. And I think the first thing to do is acknowledge their wonderful items, like that, they have such a great collection and what a history, if you notice a family picture or whatever, picture of a dog, whatever, to kind of validate their stuff and then keep validating it by saying, look, for the purposes of, showing your home, selling your home, putting your special things in one special place, like in a nice treasure chest or whatever away so that the potential buyers can envisage their lives in that home, their pictures, their family,
Yeah.
their stuff. And there's nothing else. It's hard. They're emotionally attached to it, but they're not getting rid of it. You're not putting it in a dumpster. You're saying, let's just hold on to this and be careful with this for now until we get the job done. And then you can take it for your new house.
Yeah, so I'm actually going through a situation right now. I always try to find the softest way to say things, but 2 days ago, I had a listing appointment. I sat down with her. We went over everything, and she has some beautiful antique pieces. But me knowing the industry and knowing what it is, I went through everything with her. I was trying to figure out the exact words to say, hey, listen, we need to take your stuff off the wall because people are going to judge you. But right when we were signing the contract, she actually said to me, she said, I have a question for you. Should I take all of my art off the wall and these African American pieces? And I've heard that because that we're African American or we have these pieces up, that people will judge you and they will not want to live in a home of this. And I was so grateful that she knew about this already. Someone had already prepped her. So I was able to say, yes, it's so sad. It's actually sickening to me that people are like this, but there's nothing I can do about it. I have had some people who were racist and they didn't even want to go into a house. And I was just like, oh, it's just heartbreaking to see these things, but it does happen out there.
Oh, it does. And you know, even apart from racism, which of course is terrible that she is aware of that and has had that pain, even so, it really does boil down to the different people walking into that home want to see themselves in it. They want to imagine themselves in it. And so if they're not African American, for example, they might not imagine their lives in that home. And it's easier if people can kind of put themselves in that home rather than think, well, wait a minute, this is so somebody else's home. Where am I ever going to fit in and create my own home? So
Right.
you can keep it kind of neutral that way. And just because I think that's neutrality is and simple is actually really good feng shui too, actually.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for being here today. The selling process is super crazy and I'm grateful for you. If you have anxiety or stressful life or anything, I highly suggest that you talk to Michelle. She's my favorite. She's helped me through a lot of incidents, not only with real estate, but also with my family, as we all have like a little bit of things going on. And I wanted to invite her because, like I said, a lot of people think, oh, I accept an offer, it's done, and it's just beginning the stress. And so all I can tell you is that with me and my team, we communicate with you. We're experts. We know what we're doing. And if we don't have the answer, we have the right team in place to go and find the answer for you.
Absolutely. And I highly recommend you as a human being. You are an amazing person. And I should know. I've known you many years,
Yes.
and I think you're really great. I highly recommend you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Can you tell us we can get a hold of you if anyone wants to contact you?
Actually, you can just go to my email. Just email me, and then we can talk from there. And my email is on the path 222 at gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll drop it below in the context box and you guys can check it out. But thank you so much for being on the show and I really appreciate it.
All right. Bye.